Well, what's going on, guys? So I've been making some good progress since I posted my 5-year progress video about 2 months ago now. In this video, I want to share what I've accomplished over the last 2 months and what still needs to be done before I can finally put out my first playable demo of the game. So first off, I had to rethink everything that needs to be saved and loaded. In my last video, I shared how player appearance, equipment, inventory, weather, date, time, and certain objects were saved and loaded properly. However, I also wanted to test systems such as quests, dialogue, chopping trees, lifting/destroying rocks, seeding, planting, watering crops. However, each of these systems require different data to be saved and loaded. For example, all quests need to have their status changed, such as active, available, or complete. However, a fixed quest needs to store how many of certain object has already been fixed, while a farming quest may need to keep track of how many plants have been watered or seeded or harvested. So I needed to expand my quest system to account for all of these variables in addition to displaying the proper NPC dialogue depending on a variety of factors. If the player already fixed some fences, the NPC should not be asking the player to fix the fences again, but rather give that player the quest reward at that time, even if they didn't accept it in the first place. So to accomplish this, I instead created an event system to update even quests that haven't been accepted by the player yet. This allows for the traditional pattern of accepting a quest, completing the quest, and then getting a reward. But in addition, it allows the player to complete quests without even accepting them in the first place, which I think is a pretty cool mechanic. I love the idea of having objectives that can be completed in any order at any time. And another example of this may be when growing crops. The player can fix the well to get a watering can to water their crops. However, they could also just wait until it rains and grow their crops that way. My goal is to have the NPC dialogue hint at other methods of completing a task without forcing the player to choose a single one. Another example may be a boulder blocking a cave. The optimal way would be acquiring a pickaxe and destroying the rock. However, the player has completed other quests first. He or she may have a sickle or a sword or an axe. All of these can be used to destroy the rock. These tools will be less effective, of course, but still get the job done. So after determining the types of quests that would be in the game, I started designing quests and conversation dialogue to test out certain ones. Exploration quests will complete when a player enters a new area. Delivery quests will complete when an item is found and delivered to a certain NPC. Fixed quests will complete when the player fixes a certain number of specific objects. And at the end of each quest, I also set it up to reward the player with some kind of item or UI feature. This item will serve to help the player in their next quest with that specific NPC, but can also provide additional benefits. One of my recent favorite examples of this is the miner's helmet. The cave is dark, so a light source would help you see better as you progress deeper in the cave. However, even if you're not in the cave, it will also help you see at night when performing other activities, such as chopping trees or exploring or farming, whatever you prefer to do. And the village obviously has light, but after 7 p.m. it starts getting darker. And I also added a system and equipment type of backpack to increase the number of inventory slots when equipped and removed when unequipped. All miner type gear will help you in the cave, but also provide other benefits such as extra light or more inventory space, regardless of the path you decide to take in the game as you progress. My initial goal for the demo is to have 2 locations, village and the cave. This way I can determine the different variables that make each location feel unique. Different locations will have different biomes, including separate day-night lighting settings and weather patterns, wild animals, trees, rocks, etc. Once I'm comfortable with these, I can start expanding to other locations such as the beach, the forest, and the town. The long-term goal is to have one location with each different biome, such as like a desert, a jungle, tundra. And for now though, my goal is to have just 2 locations and 3 NPCs with at least 3 quests for each NPC. These quests will teach mechanics such as player movement, picking up items, speaking with NPCs, reading signs, fixing, destroying, lifting, using weapons or tools, farming mechanics, shaking trees, chopping trees, and capturing insects. This may seem like a lot for a first demo, but it will not include mechanics yet, such as crafting, cooking, taming, pets, karma, bond, fishing, combat, magic, special abilities, player housing, events, and other mechanics. However, behind the scenes, I'm constantly thinking about these features. I wanted the game to ensure my current systems are adaptable and expansive. For example, after this demo, the player will already know how to swing an axe or pickaxe by equipping it and pressing left mouse button. When I introduce fishing, the player will already know how to equip the fishing rod and press left mouse to use it. The ultimate goal is to teach simple mechanics as intuitively and as with little instruction text as possible, so that even my grandma can learn it without any gaming experience. To accomplish this, the UI needs to be clear, fun, and efficient as possible. I recently improved my add item UI to look better and animate so the player knows exactly when they gained an item. Upon picking up an item, the UI jumps out a bit with the item icon, name, and quantity. If an additional item of the same type is added within 5 seconds, it updates the exact existing add item UI. I made this work the same for items that are dropped, used, or given to an NPC, but just shown as negative. I follow similar UI animation logic to the player interaction UI, which appears when the player gets near an object that can interact with. When the player gets out of range, the UI zooms away and then gets disabled. I tried to make it simple enough where the interaction shows only 1 or 2 words such as speak, fix, pick up, open, read, shake, etc. I love this new system as I could set it up to basically interact with every object or NPC in the game. Aside from making the UI and interaction systems expandable, I also created a great system to handle NPC conversation dialogue that coincides with the NPC quest using a CSV file. A little while back during the football season, I created a fantasy football lineup generator, which taught me how to convert spreadsheet data into a CSV file, which is basically just a text file separated by commas, and then learned how to extract that data into a usable form. I use the same logic to store and upload conversation and quest data for each NPC. The spreadsheets store data such as beginning and ending dialogue as well as possible NPC replies based on the dialogue option the player chooses. The conversations and quests have unique IDs tied to the unique IDs of the NPC. This way the system knows which conversation ties to which quest depending on the NPC, quest status, and conversation status. In addition to this, I also figured out a way to parse HTML tags so I can color certain words in the text box so they stand out. This may be useful when an NPC mentions an NPC name, an item, or a location that the player should be aware of as part of the text. This is helpful to the player, but even more helpful is a mini map which I created as well. Once a certain quest is complete, a map will be given to the player showing an arrow to represent the player as well as the NPC or quest markers to direct the player in the right direction. I still have a lot of work to do on the main map, but I don't think that's that important for just having 2 locations right now, but I still have like a rough map that I did create. Another piece of UI that is important is the time. One of the starting quests hints that something can only be found at night, so seeing the time can be useful. It will also be useful later in the game as shops will usually be open around 9 to 5 depending on the NPC. And in addition, special events may only occur at certain times of day, certain weather, or even certain seasons. This also holds true for wild animals and insects. You may see more rabbits or squirrels during the day, but more lightning bugs at night. Originally, I thought I'd just have all these UI gadgets appear when the player starts the game, like many other similar games do. However, I thought it would be more immersive and more fun to introduce certain UI as rewards for doing basic tasks and quests, and then be able to upgrade them later on in the game, such as like a watch shows the time starting, and then maybe it'll be able to show the day of the week, and maybe the weather and other kind of things as you upgrade them. It feels more rewarding to acquire a watch or map in this way rather than just a mini map acting as like a static UI. In addition, it gives an opportunity to introduce this mechanics to the players to discover them rather than all at once when they start the game. I really like it too because it encourages exploring, completing tasks, and speaking to NPCs, and you could find these in any different order depending on where you want to explore or what quests you want to complete. This type of UI is not needed to complete the game either, but it can definitely aid the player in their journey. Personally, I would want to explore every area and complete every objective I could just to see what new reward I could acquire. Being that it could be anything from a new item, a new skill, a new location, a new NPC, a new gadget. There's a fun mystery element to it as well. So all in all, I improved my save load system to now account for all quest types, conversations, objects in the game. I added a lot more interaction functionality such as lifting, planting, watering, speaking, and I created an improved dialogue system which triggers different dialogue based on the player reply option that they choose. I made sure the quests follow along with the dialogue and created a few different starting quests for each of the 3 NPCs at the start. I programmed animated UI for adding items upon item pickup and quest rewards, as well as for sliding UI for new quest objectives. I created a cave location with separate lighting, as well as a miner's helmet quest reward, which provides a light radius affix bonus for the player when worn. Finally, I worked a bit on the main menu to allow for saving and options functionality and improve the title screen to look a little better as well. Now while I feel, while I've done a lot, there's still a good amount to be done before I feel like I could release a demo. First off, I need to improve the look of the main character. I still have the main character for the last 2 or 3 years. And while it is decent, I want to improve it and create some decent looking hairstyle options to choose from. In addition, I need to create and improve some basic animations for using tools such as pickaxe, watering, equipping. Right now, a lot of these animations just use the same swing animation, which is not really ideal. For the two NPCs, I have two completed, but I still need to create a third NPC and add a basic walk and idle animations for the NPC. For combat and gathering, the basics of melee combat work. However, I have to improve the collision timing and collision hitbox radius, as it just doesn't feel great at the moment. And improving the collider trigger timing as well as particle effects at the point of collision with a bit of object shake will also improve it a lot. So at the moment I have about 4 quests completed and working, but I still need to make about 8 more. My demo goal is to make at least one of each type, including fix, deliver, destroy, plant, water, lift, explore, and find. I've created a mini-map, but still need to add functionality to show different color icons depending on the NPC position and the quest status. I also need to add functionality to have it enable when the player is given a map as a quest reward. I need similar functionality to display the time when the player acquires the watch. Right now the time and date systems are working, but I'm trying to decide a better looking option for the UI and position. It's in the top right, which is okay, I think, but I think it can be improved. The inventory UI is decent, but I think I need to improve the inventory slots a little bit bigger and make sure all the sprites and descriptions are correct and they actually all show and nothing's cut off within the text box. I also started creating a tutorial tip system, which you saw a few in this video, which pops up as certain events are triggered. For example, like when a tool is first added, it shows you how to equip it and use your action bar. And this proves true for doing fixable or destroying objects, and it teaches you a little bit about that. So I have to think about the structure and create the tutorial tips depending on what I think is most relevant to the player. After this, I will need to create and add basic sound effects for everything. Right now, I really don't have any. And this includes when you pick up an item, use a tool, explosions, falling and crashing trees. And I like this to have a sound when the dialogue is actually being typed out. Then I need to sync it up with my event system and sound effects manager to ensure the sound effects are being played at the proper time. So, I mean, this is a lot to still do, and I'm sure there's probably more I can't think of at the moment. But I have to make my March to-do list after this video. And, hopefully I can get a demo out as soon as possible. But in the meantime, I'm trying my best to get it out. And thank you for watching as always. This is where I'm at with everything at the moment. Thanks for watching, especially for everyone who's been following along since this 5-year beginning. I really feel like I'm improving a lot, which is good, so I can actually do things more quickly. I'm not relearning everything from scratch as I did before. So I'm excited to see how much I can complete for March, and I'll provide another update probably around maybe early April. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.